Hey guys, the moment we've all been waiting for has finally arrived. We got the first 2 episodes of the brand new Disney Plus show, Daredevil Born Again. So enough jibber jabber, we've been waiting for these episodes, so we're going to get right into it. Before we do yourself a favor, smash that like button and subscribe if you want more Marvel content. So we're about to get into it. Little house cleaning, and here we go. We pick up episode 1 with basically we see Foggy, Karen, Matt, and Foggy, Karen, and Matt, and they're living their best lives. Things are good. Seems like it's a good beginning story. Matt's moved on. They have a new law firm with Foggy, Karen, and Matt called Nelson, Murdoch, and Page, which is really nice. Love to see how these characters are interacting together. I think it's fantastic. And then, as we move forward, they're trying to wingman for Foggy as he's kind of talking with the law firm, trying to set up a date with this great girl. But he's also got a client that he's working on with Benny, and so Foggy steps outside to take the phone call at Josie's place, because they talked about, going to Josie's diner, all the things were happening, and on the phone you hear a gunshot, and it turns out that Benjamin Poindexter has killed Benny, one of Foggy's clients, aka Bullseye, if you didn't know. And so then we are in our situation, and Matt hears the things go bad in the conversation, so Matt goes and suits up and prepares for the worst. And as that is happening, Foggy is shot by Bullseye in unexpected event. The most shocking first opening 15 minutes of any Marvel television episode. You see, this enrages Daredevil. And just in true Daredevil fashion, we are back to our roots, guys. It may be a whole new show, even though it's technically a continuation, and it feels like Daredevil Season 4. It's also Daredevil Born Again Season 1. So, we care for this episode, the music kicks in, and Daredevil just starts in true Netflix Daredevil fashion, starts beating the hell out of Bullseye. Now, unlike Netflix Daredevil, we are Daredevil in the MCU, so there's a little bit more CGI than you'd expect, but I wasn't bothered by it. I thought the fight and the choreography was glorious. You could feel every move, every punch, every Billy Club strike. Bullseye and Daredevil start tearing it up, silhouette fighting, fighting through the bar, side kicks thrown, spinning kicks thrown, whole bunch of 540s. Loved it. Brilliant. Bullseye doesn't want to be anywhere near Daredevil, so he's constantly running away from him, throwing random bullshit. Go. Random bullshit. Go. Just starts throwing shit. But Daredevil wants to get his hands on him so bad. So then it escalates to the roof, and Daredevil has now beaten the shit out of Bullseye, but as all this thing is, as they're fighting through the hallway, you get this amazing, tremendous hallway fight. It's brilliant. Then things escalate, and the way that they escalate is as going up the stairs, Bullseye makes it to the roof, but Daredevil didn't follow him up to the roof the same way. He used his billy clubs to swing to the top of the building, and he's beating the living shit out of Bullseye, punching him in the face, taking one for the team, right? Like, just brutal. Kneeing him in the face, doing all the things we love to see. And then, after that, instantly, Daredevil, or Matt, whatever you prefer to call him, starts hearing Foggy's heartbeat. No longer there, and slow. And he drops Bullseye off the top of the building. Takes his mask off, and sees former DA Cherry, who now knows who he is. But Matt is now hung up his time as Daredevil. 1 year later, we see Matt adjust to his life as just being a lawyer. No Daredevil, just the lawyer. And he's trying to adjust to life well. But both Karen and Matt are grieving. Now, we'll talk about this later, but I do not think Foggy will stay dead. I personally feel that this is a tragic death that will lead to a fake out. Because they're not going to bring Foggy back and then just kill him like that. I feel like there's more for his story. Unless they really choose to truly kill him. But personally, I feel he could still be alive and Marvel's pulling a fake out on us. But we'll wait and see. But, so as we move forward, you know, years gone by, Matt's adjusting to life. Wilson Fisk is actually reunited with Vanessa. But Vanessa's been working with all the criminal enterprises that Fisk has left behind. But Fisk is coming to New York to show that he wants to be different and wants to, instead of living life in the shadow or the shadows, he wants to live life in the present day, where he goes and starts planning out, wants to be mayor, starts a campaign. He's introduced to this guy Dana, who's going to help him run this campaign, his entire campaign office, and the seeds are planted, and Fisk somehow becomes mayor right after Matt and Fisk have a conversation in a diner where Matt tells him he's no longer Daredevil anymore because a line was crossed. And he tells him if he steps out of line, then he'll be there. But, of course, Fisk had a warning of his own because these two characters have a history. They know who each other are. And he says, you know, I'm planning on if I become the mayor, I'm planning on outlawing all vigilantes. So a storm is brewing. An anti-vigilante task force is coming. So this is going to be crazy. So this is a perfect way to segue Punisher joining the story. And we're going to talk about Punisher in episode 2 because there's an Easter egg for later episodes to come. So then as we move forward, Matt Murdock is still adjusting his life. Everything's going the way that it's going. He gets things are building up the way that they are. And you know, like Fisk is the mayor. Matt's still trying to adjust with life. He wants to see Bullseye get sentenced for his crime, but unfortunately, it's a life sentence, not a death penalty sentence. So Matt doesn't feel super great about that. And then, you know, we see Matt walk towards the church, still kind of struggling with everything. He's still struggling with the death of Foggy. Everything that's happening to him is really struggling for him. So then you see some TV camera footage of, in the background, White Tiger beating up some people. So we're introduced to the Hector White Tiger character. And we're even getting this news footage of the BB journalist reporter saying it's been a year since Matt has no longer been Daredevil, and New York is suffering because of it. So then we end episode 1 with the celebration of after a nice date, and Matt's enjoying his time with Heather. Basically, as they've established that even though it led to some funny antics between the editors setting them up together, Fisk is in power now, and Matt's having none of it. So then, in episode 2, we pick up with what happens. We see Fisk as mayor. He's starting to do his new policies, get into it, meeting a bunch of different people, starting his new policies, building everything the way it is, and you're seeing different events. And Fisk gets a meeting. Fisk schedules. Oh, also at the end of episode 1, when Fisk becomes mayor, Hunter, or I can't remember what his name is, but a weird little kid, kind of dressed in like Miles Morales, like hoodies, and is painting graffiti of Fisk on the wall. And I believe this to be none other than our villain in the later episodes of the season, known as Muse from the comics. Muse is an artist, but he's also a serial killer. But more on him in a minute. So then we enter episode 2, and you know, a lot of stuff is going on. Fisk is trying to figure out his business, but he finds out that his wife, after looking at his wedding ring, they're having marital problems. And so Vanessa and Fisk agree to go to therapy because it's good for the campaign and for their life. And so when they figure all that out, we find out that apparently Fisk, later in the episode, Fisk's new therapist is Heather Glenn from the comics, which is Daredevil's love interest, referenced in Daredevil 2003 and other stuff. Also, yeah, another thing in episode 1, a lot of Easter eggs with Bullseye to nods to the original Colin Farrell Bullseye. So that was pretty cool. So then episode 2, like I said, we kick things off, and Fisk is the mayor, and he's trying to do everything he can to change everything. He even makes a statement that a man in body armor with a skull, and a kid in a spider outfit won't be the thing that saves New York. And so, like Matt says, the cities like David and Goliath fighting for each other. We even start this episode with, basically, we open the episode with a subway murder, where Hector goes out trying to save someone, do the right thing, but he doesn't realize that there's cops that are actually the ones that are orchestrating this whole thing. And it seems it was to catch a vigilante, because one of the cops somehow ends up dying to death on the train track, and they blame it that he pushed him, so the cop is murdered. But Matt wants to find out the deeper reason, finds out he's connected to White Tiger, but still thinks he's innocent, so he has his team look into it and figure out what's going on. But then as we pick things up, as the episode goes on gradually into it, we're seeing Matt push that breaking point, like, am I Matt Murdock or am I Daredevil? And, he's really connecting with Heather. But as the episode goes on, we see a book signing with the book mentioned about Life Without Fear, which is a reference to the Man Without Fear Daredevil comic. And we also are introduced to none other, as I mentioned, we learn about the BB journalist storyline. We find out Fisk meets with, after pressure about Vanessa, meets with BBB journalist, which is revealed to be the niece of Ben Urich. If you don't remember, Ben Urich was murdered in season 1 by Fisk. So this brings things full circle, that just like her uncle, she's a journalist and she's willing to get the truth out. So that sets up some pretty interesting stuff. Like I said, most of this season so far is a lot of talky scenes and then action in the middle. So episode 1 had an outstanding action sequence, then there's a lot of talking scenes, but the dialogue is so well written. It's amazing to have Charlie and Vincent back. They give A+ performances. Episode 1, easily a 10 out of 10 episode. And then episode 2, we go forward in the episode. Things are happening. Matt is investigating everything. He's hearing some people talk about what's going on with the criminal stuff. And after we get some stuff with the family finding out about who White Tiger is. Even see an Easter egg of potentially the next White Tiger from the comics. And probably in season 2. We see Matt, after you met with him, kind of upset. He finds out he's a vigilante. Thinks he's doing it because of the vigilante reasons. Because Matt's still struggling with not being the vigilante. But New York needs Daredevil. Unfortunately, he does not suit up in this episode. But in the end of the episode, as he goes to investigate this, he finds the cops, the corrupt cops, that are serving Fisk in the task force. And Matt goes to talk to them to figure out the story. Realizes one of them has a Punisher tattoo, which to me hints at that this is a part of the task force. And just in typical Krav Maga fashion, Matt gets a gun pointed to his head from the cops, and Matt simultaneously, as Matt Murdock, faces off against these guys with his glasses being all cracked. Everything is going crazy. We get an outstanding action sequence, and it ends after Matt is out of breath facing off against these characters. We had some CGI in the first episode, 2 brilliant action sequences, great first 2 episodes. Episode 2, I'm going to give a 9.5 out of 10. We are so back, guys. The most peak Marvel content is here. If you enjoyed my Daredevil reviews, let me know your thoughts, and we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Remember, music's coming in the next couple episodes. Get excited for a bloody good time. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed my reviews. Boom, boom, boom. No mercy. Oh, also, one more thing before we get to that. How did I feel about both episodes as a premiere rolled into one? Well, let's see. What does Homelander have to say? They were perfect. They were perfect. Right down to the last minute detail. Thank you, guys. Have a great night.